Hi everyone, N here, head of community pronouns are they them, and this is Watercooler Chat. Every Monday we connect and talk all things Livepeer, ask questions, get insights, and get updates. So for my updates today on the community end, we of course have our summit coming up in October at Lisbon. Just posted an announcement about it. Please RSVP if you're interested. It's going to be super exciting. The whole Livepeer team on Inc. and Foundation will be there, so it's a great opportunity for the community to align, understand where we're going, give critical and honest feedback, and figure out together how to move the network forward. Really exciting stuff. On the network side, we actually have just, to your point, Joel, reached above 50% on the network. So we're at 50.1% as of me just checking. So now we're again in a deflationary environment. Hopefully, we stay above 50% and can continue to realize that deflation. And then additionally, we had an all-time high two or 3 weeks ago, and since so yeah, 3 weeks ago and the last 2 weeks have maintained not the all-time high, but a few $1,000s less for the fees on network per week. So I think we're in a pretty strong position, and excited for what comes next. All right, Rick, any announcements from the foundation side?
Yes, can you hear me again? I was testing my mic.
Yes.
Yeah, so from the foundation side, as you know, so people who don't know the foundation was established to steward the Live ecosystem and give the community also a way to participate in setting the roadmap and then also contributing to the roadmap. I will share some resources in the chat again for people to read up. So we had our advisory boards with a lot of experts in there, and also core contributors, long contributors from like the Ivy Live ecosystems. They first said that like the pillars for the Livepeer ecosystem. Then we worked on like eventually towards the technical recommendation, and now we are in the phase where we really are setting the roadmap that contributors can work on. So the foundation boards, together with the other foundation members, have been working in creating this roadmap based on the technical recommendations, and we will share to this week the work streams that we created from this roadmap. So work streams are like groups of related technical recommendations that have one a lead of a work stream that's responsible for them. And in this group, we can get execute along a certain area. So we will share this week. And after this, we will also share the roadmap. And after that, we can start contributing people can start eventually contributing to the roadmap. Behind the scenes, we're also working on a lot of other things. There is also an update from our comms lead, Joseph, in the general chat about this. Things like, for example, working on like how we can best shape the contributor landscape, the budget side, and also we are still working with the protocol team on getting the protocol ready for all the foundations to execute quickly on like the technical recommendations, for example, for the market and the governance board. So that was my current update. I will share the resource in the chat. So if people have questions about the foundation, about other things that we are working on, just send a message in the chat or jump on stage.
Amazing. Thank you, Rick. Also, Titan, I saw you. Oh, you just dropped down. Awesome. Well, we have a number of topics today. The first one is if anyone has any questions on Foundation, feel free to ask them throughout the call. But if none right now, Mike, you had asked about Lisbon and getting updates. Do you have any specific questions?
Nope, I think you answered all the questions. So
Perfect.
if you really want to RSVP and look at Mike and say, you're not what I thought you looked like, then come see me in Lisbon.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's gonna be really awesome to connect with everyone IRL, and talk Web3, talk Livepeer, and talk everything that's happened over the past few years. I know that last one happened was a few years ago, so I think it'll be a nice place to figure out where we're going next, together. Awesome. We have some BYOC updates from John. Do you want to take those away? And I know Peter maybe had some updates too.
Sure. So there was some questions in the chat about where we were last week, and I promised a full spec last week, so just wanted to give an update where we are. We're currently fixing up the PyTrickle package, we call it. It's really the BYOC SDK, if you will. It implements, like Pydantic models to express the API. Has a little server that interacts with Go Livepeer for health checks and monitoring, and of course integrates with the Trickle protocol to send messages back and forth, as well as audio and video workloads back and forth. So working on a spec. I'm sure we'll have it out this week. We have 2 different demo applications. We've also refactored ComfyStream to run on this new PyTrickle SDK, and this becomes your Python plugin to the Livepeer network for building AI applications. So that kind of sums up the progress that we've made so far. We've already demoed sort of the audio transcription use cases, which demonstrates our text data output channel. That's going to allow new use cases like video descriptive video inference, scene description, I think is the technical market term for that. But I'll let Peter could probably give a little more scope on our ideas. We've been brainstorming as a group on which pipelines to bring to the network, and one thing we're also looking at is like language translation with our transcriptions that we already have as one of the low-hanging fruit. So pretty soon, I think probably by the end of this week, we'll have a couple pipelines in place, and folks will start being able to stand those up on the Livepeer network, I really think. So it pretty much sums up the update. Sorry, no slides or anything today, but happy to take questions.
Very cool. Any cues?
There was that.
I was just saying any cues from anybody. Questions.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. If anyone has any, of course, feel free to tag or speak up later. The next topic was mine on treasury spending. I posted a poll in the chat, just like a impromptu. If folks want to vote on that or share their feelings on the breakdown we saw. Looks like everyone who voted said yes so far. But yeah, I thought that the breakdown was also quite strong. I hadn't seen it presented like that, so thanks to GovWorks for setting that up. But at least for where the network is, I think it makes the most sense to be focusing on core development and app development. The breakdown was, hold on, let me pull up the slides really quick on my end. So we have spent a total of 300,000. Oh my god, why can't I read this number? 300,000. 322,452 LPT for core development, which represented 52.8%. App development represented 37.7%. And then we had education and IRL representing 6.7%. And then we had governance representing 2.8%. And I can share the LPT allocated if people want. But again, yeah, so that was the breakdown of spending since October 2024. So coming up on a year, not a full year just yet. So yeah, I'm just curious if anyone has thoughts, perspectives there. But I thought it was a pretty reasonable breakdown for where we are.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd see those things shift up or down based on needs as things mature, but getting the core network in place is probably a good way to spend the money right now.
Right. Yeah. +1. Any other thoughts? And if you don't want to speak, feel free to just do the poll. All right. Looks like no more thoughts there. So the next one was from Joel on the AI pivot. Joel, if you want to re-ask your question, feel free.
Yeah, no, it would just be nice to. I know you guys are day in and day out on this, but obviously that was a good natural pivot, and just where are we at in terms of making that transition, and what's the outlook as far as that goes? How confident are we in being able to capture market? Ultimately, again, I love this project since day one, but of course, a lot of this is then reflected in how things are moving as far as the economics and the tokenomics go. And I just want to feel like there's a level of confidence in kind of where we're going and the market share we can capture with this, so that we can kind of get to where we all would like to see, on one way or another.
Yeah, I can maybe give a quick historical backdrop, Joel, for you. So one thing to note, and I think it's important from the Treasury talk you saw earlier, is that there are still people in the community actively working on both. So Inc. as a company that employs me, the Inc. pivoted fully to real-time video AI. So we recently started a real-time video AI community called Daydream, and of course we're on the version 2 of the Daydream product. And that community now is just 1,500 people, and it started 2 months ago. So there's been quite significant growth on the community end there, and hopefully that trend continues. So Inc. Like Livepeer Inc. is focused on the real-time video AI bet and developing that. And of course, there are many AI SPEs, including Agent and the ASP within the community, funded through the Treasury. However, there are other folks like Eli, who's from Streamplace, and then you have the Frameworks SPE, who's also doing on the transcoding and live streaming side. So I think from at least an Inc. perspective, there's been a total pivot, but from the community perspective, there's still quite a diversity in PMF bets. Additionally, the foundation pillars, which might be good to read, there is still a diversity in what the foundation is hoping to inspire in the community. And Rick, you can speak more to this, but I think that gives a pretty good rundown where Inc. has a perspective on real-time video AI driving significant fees, which we have seen, but also the Agent SB has driven significant fees on network. So I think it's a more complicated picture than a full pivot from the ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, understood. That makes perfect sense. I just, from I guess my perspective, and a lot of us here, Livepeer has been so good at having a vision to kind of anticipate where we're going with all of this, and obviously all of us want to see us be able to kind of benefit from that, and really kind of benefit and reap the rewards from all the development that's going on. So, yeah, I'm just excited to continue to see things move forward and to keep up to date on that side.
Awesome. Any other thoughts for Joel on the pivot? I know that was big topic in the community.
Yeah, so I didn't hold the 4-story. I had to grab a package from the door. But I heard most of it. So from the foundation, it's similar to a discussion I think we had last time about the different kind of incomes, what we try to do with the Livepeer ecosystem, meaning build towards open video infrastructure, meaning that that's not only about real-time augmentations, it's also still about transcoding there. For example, if you look at the advisory boards go-to-market, which I will share, the pillars, there is still the same focus on building the open video infrastructure of the world, meaning also decentralized social is one of the go-to markets there. In there, decentralized social needs transcoding, needs other things. For example, Eli talked a little bit about CDNs, I think also CTPA, meaning that while Inc. is currently leading like the real-time AI stuff, there the community still is working on other use cases, and we will keep doing this. You can do C spikes, I think, within our focus, which is then on AI augmented video, I would say, meaning that's normal video through like operations like transcoding, but it's also like AI operations as what Inc. is doing, like video augmentation. It's also the work that the AI is doing about more video understanding. For example, the transcription pipeline, which can be very beneficial for, again, regular video platforms that already are using Livepeer as an alternative, for example, to Gemini. Then you can see about use cases there in the video understanding for like agents, which to me is very interesting, being the sensing network for agents there, which also the AISP is working a little bit around. So there's still a lot of spikes going on, which in my opinion still are true to the original mission that that the Livepeer ecosystem started in 2017, sorry. So I hope that gets the topic a little bit, because I had to quickly jump to the door. But
Yeah,
Joel,
very good.
thank you for being here and being a long-time supporter of our ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that, and I've been following along, and I've been following you, and yeah, thank you. It's good to be checking in.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, we're always here to answer, both from the Inc. side and both from the foundation side. We just did another update also on questions about marketing and the inflation debate in the Telegram, and we keep everything as transparent as possible and as easy to digest, especially, for example, for the core engineering. We're also looking at to give more regular change logs updates there, or what all the groups are doing, seeing a way to aggregate the data for people so that can easily see immediately what all the groups in the Livepeer ecosystem are doing, and we will keep working towards improving the communications to the community there.
Yeah, thank you. And I know I can appreciate that the inflation has been talked ad nauseum. You know, just from my perspective, you know, we all I think most of us understand that the inflation needs to come down, but in the most ideal world, as that's happening, it's being offset by the network scaling up and fees coming in and all of that. So there's kind of that happy place that we kind of want to get to, where the other is supplementing as inflation is coming down. And so hopefully, kind of into the end of 2025 and into 2026, we're really seeing that ramp up, so that we can feel good about that. If I'm correct in that line of thinking, maybe not though.
Yeah, so I think that's an important point. So basically, inflation is a mechanism to grow the ecosystem, like you say, while we scale the ecosystem, while we get more fees on the network. And I think that thesis still stands. There, as you could see in the technical recommendations that you probably saw on the form, there is a it's still a key topic for the advisory boards. The market boards had a point on that about creating a task force. The governance board there are about creating the protocol SP, really getting that funded, improving like the upgrade process there. And we will provide more updates on that. And I think that task fork is really important, because we have a solution that we worked on with the protocol team that is on a form thread. I can share it with you, but then again, there was no cohesion about the parameters that needed to be tuned. For example, also there are some risks to the current solution, meaning that the proxy would be a better solution there. But the main point that you're hitting on right now, it's not an easy problem, and we need to do our research, and we need to ensure that the decisions we make sense. And that's why the market advisory board is really with experts working towards a solution that would make sense for the ecosystem.
Yeah. Oh, clearly a very difficult task, and you know, very much like a central bank, you've got to kind of weigh out the risks. Clearly, the inflation is extremely important right now. But thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you for being here.
The other note from me, and again, I'm sorry, me and Rick are hogging, but you know, if anyone, feel free to jump in if you have thoughts you want to share too. But I think from my end, you know, you kind of talked about confidence. I think with the foundation ramping up and the advisory boards, I was on the governance. Well, I guess I am on the governance advisory board. I think what we need is kind of clear things to push on. And then from a community perspective, in order to grow the community, we need to have objectives for the community to say, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z to find success. I think there have been barriers on the network end to growth, and those have been identified within multiple advisory boards. But now we have that in writing and kind of clearly outlined in the clear roadmap of how to start approaching those problems. From the Daydream side, I think, because I have been working on that most of my time, one thing I've noticed there is it does have legs from two perspectives. One, real-time video AI is still an emerging vertical, and there's still a lot of research and development to be done around it, which I think people are very excited that a player is trying to lead that vertical and grow that vertical, from researchers to builders to creators. And the second thing that's strong about the real-time video AI bet through Inc. is the decentering of Web3 and making Web3 infrastructure something that people can know about if they choose, but don't have to know about to participate. And why that's strong is because we can drive fees to network without people necessarily having to know it's using Web3 infrastructure in our network. And already, I think many projects have seen this, that Web3 can be a narrative barrier for a lot of people. And that can be true in AI as well. So having a product that abstracts the Web3 infra, I think opens up a new market for Livepeer that historically potentially couldn't access. And a lot of Web3 has been kind of, hyper focused on Web3 for Web3 rather than Web3 for anybody, and people not having to know it's Web3. So that's what makes me the most excited about Daydream as a community and as a product. It potentially can be, tens of thousands, if not more, people who are interested in real-time video AI and want to explore that from a technical and user perspective.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course. Any other thoughts for Joel?
I'll just add, like, anecdotally, as an orchestrator, I haven't seen transcode volume go down at all. It's been pretty steady. I think you can see our network fee growth as well. But just echoing what In said about Daydream, with Comfy Stream being the engine behind that, as we continue to develop that, I really still see this Livepeer cascade vision coming into reality, where people can build their own workflows with Comfy UI, and then in their requests through a Livepeer gateway, send those to the network. How that looks as far as package requirements and model availability and capacity is still shaping up, but I feel like we're in a really strong position with what we've been working on the past month or so to develop a very well responsive and highly available AI network.
Awesome. And Joel, I know you had another topic about an AI news project and potential synergy there. Did you want to speak to that?
Yeah. I know. It's just I'm always thinking about Livepeer, and I'm always seeing things. And again, on the surface, it might not make any sense, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So I saw there's a handle out there on X that's kind of doing this fun. It's got a token, and it's doing all this stuff where it's generating these really amazing, high quality news stories. And I don't know if there's any synergy there or any opportunity. It's certainly not on. It's not an Ethereum based project. It's not it's not even not Arbitrum or anything like that. But if there is anything, then let me know, and I can pass along information if there's a way for that to kind of help Livepeer. So that's really what I wanted to put out with that.
I know that their foundation is going to restart grants, so maybe an opportunity there, Rick.
Yeah, so it's an interesting product. So I didn't see your tweet link, so it would be interesting to see it, Joe. I know that Titan, who's not here, I was checking the audience. He worked on something similar in the beginning. Did like summaries from the Watercooler chat using the Livepeer AI network there, and yeah, depending on the product, there might be a good fit for like funding. We're restarting that as well. So we are going to fund again products that built on the Livepeer network. We will provide more information on that later. So I cannot provide information right now. Will be a bigger forum post.
Rick,
But curious
Rick,
to.
is there a way if a project is I imagine that it is possible if a project's on Solana, let's say, or its token is there's certainly a way for them to still work and use Livepeer's product, right? That doesn't have to be in conflict per se.
No, that doesn't.
Right.
So if their tokenomics are on like Solana, for example, they can
Yeah.
still pay for the Livepeer product. So currently you pay in Ethereum, as you know. There have been
Yeah.
debates in the past, and there also was in the advisory boards about supporting Order or RSC20 tokens, other ways of payment, having like a payment layer in between. Already saw uh, uh, a platform earlier that does that, providing that for delegators, but having something that abstracts away the payment layer so that that everybody can use it. That has been talked about yet. Currently, the current state is still that gateways can set their US dollar amount, but it will always be paid in Ethereum. But there's no no blocker for people that build on Solana, have their tokens of Solana from using the Livepeer network, for example, for transcoding, for AI. They can do through one of the gateways that will now be the in gateway. Soon it will be the frameworks gateway there as well. You have the cloud gateway, and I think that's the easiest way to interact with the network. So does
Okay,
that
so
solve
Rick,
the question?
yeah, maybe I have your handle. Maybe if you don't mind, if I send you something on X and you can just look at it, and if it's something that resonates with you, you'll let me know, and then can move from there. All right.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'm very interested in
Okay.
all these use cases.
Okay, great.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Pleasure.
And we have Phoenix here as well from the agent SP.
Hi, thank you. Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've fully got what you were saying, Joel, but from my understanding, you said you saw an agent that was reporting the news and things on like AI work. Is that kind of what you said you found quite an interesting project there?
Yeah, it's a project that's kind of I think producing very high quality stuff using very people clearly people are very experienced with their prompts, and they're creating some amazing stories using kind of generative AI video, and of course naturally given my kind of long relationship with Livepeer, I just thought maybe there's something there for to kind of to help out, and to kind of both projects can benefit.
Right. So yeah, effectively reporting stories from say Livepeer or any of the the SE work in like an AI generated video form. Is that not what you're after? What you liked?
Yeah, I imagine they're paying subscriptions for, I don't know which tools they're using to generate what applications, but they're paying to have these videos produced, and they're exceptionally high quality. And again, if there's a way for them to work with Livepeer, where they're using Livepeer technology and continuing to seamlessly do what they're doing and produce the same quality content, and that can be kind of a positive reflection on Livepeer, and great, right? I just don't know enough to know if there's a possibility for that. So that's why I'm putting it forward to you guys.
Right. Essentially go to that place where they are doing these videos and seeing if we can be their back-end streaming form, basically.
Yes, possibly. I think I'll pass along some information, and then you guys can kind of maybe figure out. I'll send it through to Rick, and you can maybe think about if there's a way to work with them, or if you like it and there's a possibility there. You never know, I guess.
We love this sort of feedback. We really do, because we're trying to build products that use Livepeer to bring it into the forefront of the world, essentially. So we love the feedback, and please send it on and see, Rick, if we can support you guys at all or help develop any product there, then we'd love to. So yeah, really appreciate the feedback there, Joel.
Pleasure.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely send it along in either chat as well. I'm sure folks want to check it out too. So send that Twitter handle. All right, we only have one more topic. It was from Dr. Pangloss about any questions, if we had any questions for him, or feel free if you want to share kind of how it's impacted you. I mean, I'm always curious to see the impact of supporting open source projects, so I'd love to hear it from you.
Sure. Any questions I'd love to take. I think the super brief thing I said at the beginning of the call, pretty vague in general, but specifically when it comes to building stuff on top of the Comfy UI ecosystem, the experience for most developers is Comfy UI is a pile of Python scripts, not something that's easy to use as a component of something bigger. And the project that's being supported is a repackaging of Comfy UI plus fixing a lot of bugs and smoothing over a lot of the bumps for using Comfy UI to power other applications. So specifically, if you've ever used Comfy UI, that might be a maddening experience of installing one of 4 or 5 different ways of running Python, and then downloading gigabytes of torch binaries, and then finding a bunch of obscure models and nodes, and hitting play, and then doing it all over again to get it to work with an application that might run in a different environment, have different requirements, and having this all work between your Mac OS laptop and your Windows desktop with a GPU and the Linux computer you're actually going to run this stuff on. It's a complete cluster, as it were. And the open source package came from my and my colleagues' own needs, developing creative art tooling for this community. And as we went on that journey, we solved a lot of problems that could benefit other people. We really sincerely believe in fully open sourcing everything that we do. As you see in the broader generative AI ecosystem, there's this division between stuff that's sort of hosted and proprietary versus fully open source, and even what that concretely means. And we want to open up the technology for anybody to build an ecosystem or a business around generative AI art. So we don't necessarily see it as like an opportunity to commercialize something. We sincerely want to take this thing that was written by people that we know personally and improve it, and make sure as many people can use it to do as much as possible. The core value of the support comes from concrete testing of all the workflows that people have authored for ComfyUI. These are basically glorified scripts that can generate images and videos, or can power broader experiences like streaming a generative restyling of a video. You know, that's something that you guys do. So getting that to work correctly on 5 different kinds of machines means we have to buy those machines, test them, validate everything on typical consumer hardware, and make sure that all runs in an automated way. You can't just go and buy a GTX 1650 from the EC2 marketplace or from GitHub Actions, right? A lot of these things that people actually use, the hardware people actually use, is not just a mouse click away. So you can sort of hear the hum of the computers that are behind me that run all these different configurations. And it's just part of making a validated and durably working experience for a lot of people. So we think that for the long-term health of creative art, you have to make tools that are easy to install. They just have to be of a higher caliber of user experience than they are today. And that's kind of the mission behind why develop this stuff and give it away. I think if you want to own the creativity and make the best possible thing, you can't just feel like you're hacking your computer all the time. You have to feel like it's an easy thing to install and still be part of the frontier of the science. So that's kind of the collection of compromises and benefits that we've made, and really the story arc behind how we've been contributing to the ecosystem.
Wow, thank you so much for that. That was really interesting to learn all about. Sorry to interrupt you, Rick.
No, you go first, Joe.
It's just really incredible to meet you, and I love that open source mission, and it's really what we're doing here at Livepeer too. Yeah, I'm really excited at what ComfyStream can do with your help and just a little bit of advisory around a few areas that we've struggled with. Definitely echoing your thoughts on the installation part. In fact, I'll just post like a link to a PR. We'll look at that later. But Some areas that we've been trying to improve on is just really trying to make it easy for anyone to install ComfyStream with any version of Comfy UI. Looks like we've solved it recently, but it's taken us 5 months later than we planned to get there. But we've definitely been focused on like improving the performance of ComfyStream, the ability to like unload models and reload them. We've had cases like where things kind of seem to get stuck, and we've mostly solved that with our latest API implementation. But just curious about really how Comfy UI works under the hood at times. It definitely would be very, very thankful to have you in the community.
Yeah, and so just to kind of broaden what's being said here for this community of listeners, when you think about like maintaining an open source project over the course of many years, like a lot of people just abruptly stop. And then all of that accumulated knowledge that answers questions like that goes away. And with the support, now we're really just motivated to keep contributing and to keep things working, rather than just doing it for ourselves, rather than just quitting. I think, especially with how unusual it is for a creative art tool to find any adoption whatsoever. That's probably what biggest surprise with Comfy UI. That there's a lot of stuff that is built on top of it. It does need support. It does need support to keep going. So to be able to answer his questions, because we've been doing this for a while, it's easy. It's like straightforward, but without this kind of support, you just wind up redoing the same intelligence gathering over and over again by all these different people. So everything that we're just going to discuss and like fix in the project, like that'll be a real impact.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I love about GitHub. At least there's some documentation and knowledge sharing there.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, and definitely so happy to have you. And Rick, do you want to say something?
No, my microphone was not
Oh,
working. I
good.
just wanted to say it's amazing to have you here. It's amazing to finally meet you. I've worked with John and the other teams on using Hidden Switch in the beginning with the AI pipelines. And I was really happy that Jason took on to the open source funding there, because I know how complex it can be maintaining an open source product. I've worked on several open source projects in robotics, also GitHub README stats, if people know that, in the past, and eventually that was mostly for free. And that's what a lot of people do. I think sadly they use open source products without funding them, and then products go under, I think, eventually. And yeah, just very happy that you're here, that we're able to support you, and
Yeah, and again, big thanks to Jason for leading the OSS SPE to make it all possible. Thank you for all your hard work there, and welcome in. I'm gonna call you Doctor. Welcome in, and I appreciate you know what you're building and how it's helping Livepeer fulfill our mission of building the world's open video infrastructure. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I know we've had a long water cooler with Treasury Talk at the beginning, so don't want to hold us too much longer. But again, thank you everybody for the hard work and the continued dedication. I really think over the last, at least the year plus I've been here, I think we've gone to tremendous places from when I started. So that's thanks to everybody here. And of course, before I was even here, a lot of work went into getting to that point as well. So for those who are predate me, thank you for continuing to show up. And we have a fireside this week. So if you feel like you want to join in there, but as always, there'll be a recording posted. So any last thoughts, feelings, questions?
No,
Thank you, Anne,
for
for
hosting.
hosting. Yeah.
It was an amazing session.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you all, and we will see you in the future.